sports. It's in the game. Now from the so-called City Beautiful and home to the Madden studios, this is EA Sports coverage of the National Football League from Orlando, Florida. Seems like we were just starting training camp, but here we are in October, and off we go on EA Sports. And here comes a return from the middle of the end zone. And a big hit there on the opening kickoff, and that might set the tone for what could be a physical game. And now the 49ers signal for a timeout defensively. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. On the ground, it's Brooks to start the drive. And he'll manage to pick up about 4 at second down. You look at this Niner defense. They were terrific last week in the win over Denver.
And they needed to be, because that game was a game you don't see very often anymore. Low scoring, slugging it out in the trenches. One play can make the difference type of a game, and they got it done.
Second down and 6 now. Purdy tosses out wide, complete. 7 yards there and a first down. The Panthers are the perfect 4-0 to start the campaign. And they've been playing their best football of the year, winners of 4 in a row.
And I thought that they played pretty well last week. Their execution, their discipline, their resilience, all on display in that victory.
On 1st and 10, it's Brooks. And they'll wind up getting this to the 37, gain of 9. Well, this defense for the Niners, they were terrific last week in the win over Denver.
And they needed to be, because the game was a game we don't see very often anymore. Low scoring, slugging it out in the trenches. One play can make the difference type of a game, and each play took on more importance, and they got it done.
And this is going to be a Panthers first down as good running gets them to about the 44.
They did tell us they wanted to establish the ground game early, didn't they?
They did, and a small sample size that we've seen so far, but pretty good return.
Yeah, you got to like that. They've strung together a couple of first downs, established what they wanted, the running game. And guess what? They also got their lead guy running it pretty well, too.
A pair of first downs gives them a 1st and 10 up at the 44. They'll stay on the ground with Brooks. And he's got this one across midfield into 49er territory. Yeah, so they get that one, Charles, on the right tackle.
Yeah, oftentimes in that spot, you're trying to work against a defender, trying to set the edge in the running game, and you're trying to drive around and get your body twisted so that he can't get there. Sometimes your hands get too involved.
They're backed up here with a 1st and 20 now after the holding penalty. Slot man moves right. Throwing here, Purdy. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. They'll go for a gain of 7, and it's 2nd down. I think defensively you're okay with that. Here in the first quarter, he's going to get some catches, but they rallied to him quickly.
And that's what you count on, and I like what you just said. First quarter, can you do it all game long? They catch it, you tackle them, they go down on the spot. Because when you're able to do that and you don't give up big chunks of yardage after the catch, now you put the offense in a position where every series they have to work hard to pick up first downs, and you tend to stall them out when you do that.
The 7th play now of this opening drive. This is 3rd and long, though. Out of the gun, Purdy. And unable to connect, incomplete. I'll give them credit, they took their shot, but it's going to bring up 4th down.
Brandon, watching their tape from last week, I saw plenty of plays like we just saw there, forcing incompletions. It was key in their win last week. They're hoping the same thing happens this time out, too.
Now on 4th down, on is the punt team sending this one away. And he'll be just shy of the 20 at the 19 as he goes out of bounds. A 40-yard punt, given 3 on the return. And the Niners will go on offense, 1st and 10. They'll start on the ground here on 1st down. This will be a short gain of 3 before he's brought down at the 22. You look at this Carolina defense. They played extremely well last week in the win over Atlanta.
And the big difference in the game, their ability to force turnovers. Multiple, in fact. Being able to take the ball away, give it back to their offense, the big difference in the game.
It was impressive. Now the question, can they duplicate it? Here's a 2nd and 7. And that's going to be incomplete.
Against a team coming off a win just as your team did the previous week, you talk about being physical all game long. Sometimes being physical is just being on the spot and helping force the incompletion.
They head to the line facing a 3rd and 7 following the incompletion on 2nd down. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. And that's their 2nd charge timeout here in this 1st quarter. They're down to 1 remaining. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. He'll drop to throw. And he is caught. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. Well, that's one way to convert on 3rd down, picking up 26 yards. First down, here's a run with Peterson. Trying to run inside, but nothing there. So it's the big left tackle who gets tagged with a hold.
And sometimes you're actually executing the block well, and he starts to slip off of you, and instinctively you reach out and grab him. And when it's done like that, it's often seen by the official and called.
To throw is Avant. From the gun, he'll throw.
Brandon, we saw these defenders flying to the football in their win last week, and nothing has changed. They're still moving around quickly and forcing incompletions.
So they'll come up after the incompletion for 2nd down. They'll look to throw again. Pass caught by Pearson. It's going to be a nice pickup, but he also takes a pretty good lick at the end of that one. And forget about the run to set up the pass. They're just coming out throwing.
Forget trying to set anything up. They feel like they have the advantage. They feel like they have the matchups, and they're just attacking right now.
Yep, going to the air on the opening drive. They need 12 here. It's 3rd down. The play action fake. They'll look to throw. And that will be incomplete. They couldn't hook up. And what's going to be the final play of this first quarter? No score after one on EA Sports. Here comes the 49ers punter now, as he's on to punt for the first time this afternoon. He was only asked to punt once in the victory last week as he sends this one away. And they'll get to this and down it inside the 25 at the 24-yard line. The Panthers out there and ready to begin their next drive. They've been playing the field position game thus far. No score, second quarter as they come up on 1st and 10. They'll start on the ground with Brooks. And some room to work. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. That flag accepted, and it backs the offense up a little bit. They'll send a receiver in motion left. Purdy now to throw. And a quick throw here, that's complete. It'll be a gain of 5, and that will bring up second down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
Part of what we're seeing so far is the defense is certainly coordinated. Both levels doing their jobs in tandem. The back helping the front helping the back. The pressure got home on that last play and forced him to try and throw through contact and short of the sticks.
Here's Purdy. Setting up the screen here to Edwards. And up to the 35 before they're able to knock him down. The Panthers have the first. It's a gain of 12.
When I see a defensive coordinator get upset and throw his headset, this is the kind of play that'll do it. You force 3rd and long. This is almost sort of a give-up play. You're just hoping to get something positive, and it winds up breaking big, and they convert on 3rd down.
A run out of the gun with Brooks. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
They suspected it was a power play up the middle coming at them, and boy, were they right. That defense got downhill in a hurry and limited them to just a couple on 1st down.
So from the 37, here's a 2nd and 8. Once again, it's Brooks. And he's dropped right at the 40. Gain of 3.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on their quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert for the draws and other plays of that nature to make sure you don't get hurt.
In motion right, one of the tight ends. Purdy will set up to throw it here. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he is going to have the Panthers first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Well, a lot of times when you get a manageable 3rd down situation like this, you have to think about your tight end, and he comes through for him, picking up the 1st down.
Up the middle with Brooks here. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on 1st down. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1. Now Purdy. A swing pass here to Edwards. 7 yards there and a 1st down.
Another catch for him there on this this drive, Brandon, and it looks like they're going to utilize him out of the backfield any way they can. And that time, they pick up a first down. So now on defense, do you assign a man to him and try and cover him before he gets going?
Back to throw, Purdy. That's pulled in by Brooks. And he's able to get it down to the 25-yard line.
Just about every quarterback is trained to really look downfield first before you come back and make a nice, safe throw. And in this case, that's exactly what he did. Found his running back, let him create some space, and it turned out to be a nice play for the offense.
And he's going to go down here, a sack. They push him back to the 34. Now the Panthers going to use the first of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the first half. Purdy looking to throw. Under pressure, and they got to him again. Call it a loss of 4 there on the sack. And speaking of the number 4, it brings up 4th down now.
And we all know how talented this guy is who's calling the signals for him. But even the best in the game, they can struggle against a good, cohesive zone coverage. Can't find a gap in the secondary quick enough, and he ends up taking a sack.
And he has got it from 55 yards away. That was never in doubt. So he's been automatic to this point of the season, and he connects on the field goal there.
And what a luxury it is to have a kicker you can depend upon, partner, because he hasn't missed all year long. Converts on that one as well. And kudos to you. You didn't jinx him.
Fighting his way through contact. And able to get this across the 20, but not much further as he's dropped it to 23-yard line. The San Francisco offense ready to start their next drive. A slim deficit here in a one-possession game. Not much time left, obviously. We'll see if they can march this down the field. Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. And his guys are going to take over at the 39-yard line. An unfortunate sequence there, trying to get points before intermission, but now the interception, and their opponents have a chance to possibly pad their lead.
Yeah, they had an opportunity there, and they weren't able to capitalize on it, and that's something that could come back and haunt them later. They're begging their defense now to keep them from scoring before the half ends.
Purdy. Steps away to his left. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. The Panthers going to use the second of their timeouts, as the stoppage will come with 23 seconds to go till halftime. Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. His throw caught at about the 5. Now the Panthers going to signal for their third and final timeout. So it's been taken over. We step aside.
Remember, this drive started off following the turnover, and they've taken no time working their way down the short field. A nice connection there, and now they're looking at a first and goal.
Operating from the gun, Purdy. He's got it for a Panther touchdown. A great play there as the first half is winding down. And the Panthers will extend their lead here just before halftime.
And that's certainly an important score right there because they gave themselves a 2-score cushion heading towards halftime. Now you got to force the other team out of their comfort zone, and it changes the way you approach the second half as well. How you want to do things on offense, and your defense feels much better too, having that lead.
So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. lane opens here. He's past the 30. And he goes out of bounds after a solid return to the 45.
Any return that gets you to midfield is a great return. One first down, and you're almost in field goal position.
The 49er offense set to get this drive underway. And maybe a chance for a quick completion and then a long field goal try. We'll see. And that will be incomplete. 4 ticks left here on the clock.
Charles, he doesn't seem to be particularly in tune with his receivers, just 2 for 7 throwing the football, but he did seem really locked in before the game.
Yeah, and that has to do with receivers sometimes. Sometimes the defenders knock them off their routes, and you're usually pretty precise. 1, 2, 3 cut, balls out of his hands to the receiver. In this case, might be off by a half step either way. They've got to find a way to get back in sync.
First half in the books. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports.
49ers nothing.
And we welcome you back now. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gunn, getting set for quarter number 3 here. 10-0 is our score as we get started again on EA Sports. And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23. The San Francisco offense ready to start their next drive.
Well, the first half, they struggled a little bit to keep pace offensively, CD, down 2 scores here. So how do they make some changes coming out of the locker room?
Well, they've studied what they did in the first half. They've seen what the defense has thrown at them. Now they want to have a plan of attack against it. So you come out, you're not going to get all the points back on one drive, but get started on it. Start chopping into that lead, and maybe it'll inspire your defense to help out as well.
Running game working. They'll stick with it on first down. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Well, it's not time to get them established, but in my estimation, they've got to pick up the urgency here. They've got to get quickly in and out of the huddle and run off a bunch more plays.
Here's a 2nd and 8. Here's a give up the middle. And they get him behind the line, so that short gain on first down quickly negated. They give those 2 yards right back, and now they're looking at a 3rd and 10. Now back to throw. A throw left side for Pearson is complete. So the completion good for 7 there. And it'll be 4th down.
So much about this game is just understanding situations and then having to execute, isn't it? Guard the first down sticks. Don't let them get there. And they rallied and made the tackle.
I guess they figure they got to start taking some chances. Here's a big one in this 3rd quarter as he'll go for it on 4th down. They're going to try and throw. He's got his target. That's complete. Down the left sideline. Touchdown, 49ers. Ricky Pearsall, his 6th touchdown of the season. And the 49ers' decision to go for it pays off with 6 points. Moody good with the extra point. And that'll cut it to 3 at 10-7. So after the made field goal by Moody, he's back out to kick this one away. And not willing to risk a return. This ball's going to come out to the 30-yard line. This Carolina offense at the line, ready to go. And maybe some renewed pressure on this unit following the touchdown a moment ago. It's back to a 1-score game.
And because of that pressure, because it's now a 1-score game, they know this is where you need to slow the momentum change, because otherwise that could overrun your team. You've got to be careful right here.
Ball
on the 35. Here comes 2nd and 5. They'll run straight ahead with Brooks. And he'll push forward to the 37, gain of 2.
And this is why aggressive defensive coordinators love to blitz. It wreaks havoc because they end up taking their attention to the blitzers, freed up the D lineman to make the play.
Here's 3rd and 3. They'll try and run here with Brooks. And he's going to be dumped there, but he does have a first down. Well, they gave themselves options there on the 3rd down play, and were able to convert on that RPO.
Shows a lot of trust with the guy taking the snap, doesn't it? Because you're counting on him to make the right reads and give the ball where it's supposed to go. And he did on that play.
They'll run right here with Brooks. And he stopped immediately there. A good action to this point in the 3rd quarter. Just a 3-point game. 2nd and 10.
No gain on the play. Brings up 2nd and 10 at the 45-yard line.
A handoff running left, Brooks. And he'll be brought down at the 50 after a gain of about 5.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
I think he had to unload that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you?
Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it wasn't a fumble, really. And no move to get the offense off the field. They're going on 4th and 5. Back to throw. Purdy. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35.
That's good for a Panthers.
So a moment to catch our collective breath after the 4th down conversion. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. Welcome back live to Orlando. It's been a very hotly contested game to this point. Just a field goal separating these two teams as we get set for the 4th quarter. Three tight ends in the ball game here on 1st and 10. On the handoff, this is Brooks. And a 5-yard gain as he's down inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. I'm sure that that's going to be the formula. Just keep the ball on the ground. Keep that clock moving.
And when you have the lead this late in the game, above all, stay in bounds. Yes, take care of the football. Yes, gain yardage, but stay in bounds and let that clock tick.
They go with Edwards left side. And finally, down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. That burst good for 20 and a first down.
So take a look at the clock. I realize that this drive is eating up a good portion of the 4th quarter already. Gotta tell you, partner, when you're trying to salt away a game, this is exactly what it's supposed to look like.
So 1st and goal, 6 points here would go a long way toward wrapping this one up. Here's Brooks. And he'll take this into the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina. Jonathan Brooks with his 4th rushing touchdown on the year. And the Panthers are able to build on to their 4th quarter lead.
Sometimes you get a 1st and goal and you're back near the 7, 8, 9-yard line and you start thinking, maybe we'll run it here on 1st down to get half of what we need, so maybe we can have 2 or 3 shots at going for it from closer range. So this is a bonus right here. What a great run to work his way into the end zone.
The Carolina kick team is out there ready to go, and they kick this one away. Now a crease here as he's past the 30. And he's able to get this all the way to the 40 before going out of bounds.
There's no downplaying that we all knew that this was a critical possession, and to get a return like that to start things off, that's the spark that they needed. That's the spark they were looking for.
The 49er offense set to get this drive underway. And you figure after giving up that last touchdown, they trail by 2 scores here in the fourth quarter. This drive becomes very critical. Now whistles here, and I think one of the big boys for the 49ers might have jumped.
So they accept the penalty, of course, and push the offense backwards a bit.
A false start backs him up 5, 1st and 15. They run over center with Peterson. And this defense not giving him anything there. Maybe a yard up to the 36.
When we talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot. He had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
2nd and 14. He finds his man, complete. That's 4. And just 3 yards on the catch there. He couldn't get away. And that brings up 3rd and a full 10 yards.
And we're definitely getting towards the point of the game where not getting a lot of yards is secondary to keeping the clock moving. I mean, to me, that's a double win defensively. Short gain and some more time off the clock.
The Niners on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 10. He'll look to throw. He's going to air it out deep for Matthews. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
And they're at the point of the ball game now where they've got to take some chances. They've got to put the ball in the air and just see what happens. But this defense knows that all too well.
As expected, they're going for it to keep the drive alive. He's going to try and go deep again. It's caught inside the 25. And he'll be taken down, but he does have 1st down yardage. Again, he'll drop to throw. Dancing to his left. It's into the hands of Matthews for the 49er touchdown. A great effort there. His first touchdown on the year. And the 49ers have made it a 1-score game again here in the 4th. Moody good with the extra point. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this 4th quarter.
49ers 14.
So here's Moody back out there now to send this one away. They'll elect to bring it out here from the end zone. And the decision to bring it out, kind of a costly one, as he won't make it back to the 20.
The Panthers out there and ready to begin their next drive.
This drive here beginning probably with a pair of motivated groups. Remember, the offense scored a touchdown on their last time out. Looking to repeat that in Charles's defense. They were very frustrated after giving up 6 the last time on the field.
And frankly, it's just a battle of wills in a lot of ways because you know they're both motivated. They both game plan for this drive, and they both have specific outcomes in mind. To me, it just comes down to who can execute better and which side can step up and assert its will over the other.
An ideal down and distance to try to finish this thing off. 2nd and inches.
He's going to get it again. Just looking to get forward and protect the ball.
And this one will go to the 28-yard line. So fresh out of the 2-minute warning, and here's another timeout taken with 1:55 remaining.
5 points of contact necessary at this stage as they'll run on 1st down.
A pickup of about 3 yards as he's taken down at the 31. Now San Francisco going to call their 2nd timeout as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. Have to imagine this will be on the ground as well as they come up 2nd and 7.
They run out of the gun with Brooks here.
And this is an absolutely big 3rd down that's been set up here, partner, and there's no other way to put it. The defense has to get a stop here to have any hopes of winning this game.
Pastor, you said big 3rd down. I'd put the word big in capital letters here.
A yard all they need, but it's 3rd down. Here's a handoff to Brooks running left.
Well, he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40.
No doubt those are the types of carries they're looking for here, Charles. The lead in the 4th quarter. This is when coaches have had a reliable running game they breathe a little easier on the sideline.
Yeah, they love the idea that they can take the air out of the football at this point of the game. That means they're really counting on that offensive line, counting on the runners, taking care of the football. Because you're going to tell your quarterback, hey, no time to be a hero. We're not going to throw it here. Just eat up that clock. And if you have the ball, they can't score.
Here's a handoff to Brooks.
And he'll work it inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. Charles, why didn't they just take the knee there?
You're asking the question that I'm asking as well, because we've seen a lot of football where coaches decide maybe they get a little greedy. I don't know if they're doing it for stats or for what reason. We've seen it happen in college. And how about in the NFL? The miracle of the Meadowlands. All they had to do was take a knee and the game was over. The Giants ran it one more time. Ball popped free. Philadelphia picks it up and wins the game.
What year was that?
1978. I think it was in November.
But Charles, you think about this victory, pretty impressive. They came in facing one of the top defenses in the National Football League. Not only did they get the win, they played a clean football game, didn't have any turnovers against that great defense.
Yeah, it's a terrific observation because, you know, they emphasize ball security, wanted to avoid making any major mistakes playing against that tough defense, and they were turnover free and took points when they were available. Excellent execution, and they did it confidently.
So for the Panthers, their strong September has carried over to October as they move to 5-0. So for our entire crew, alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gold.